Superhuman human. Right, so we're going to take a quick look at a new exercise that we're incorporating into hamstrings, and it's using the Smith machine. We call this one a birth giver, and you'll see why when we start doing it. But the trick is here is to keep the load really far back on the heel, and you want your feet over your face, not below, because what we're looking for here is a stretch. So think about straight leg deadlifting, that's the feeling you're looking for here. And the important point is the lockout. But because your legs are at an angle, you're not going to be loading the knees, so it's safe to lock it out through the heels, and that's where you're going to feel the load, and then you're going to bring it down, control negative, and lock back out, because the lockout is important. And also having the confidence to do this in the gym for other people. Nice and deep here, because when we lift, it's going to roll back. So we lift, it kicks back, you see how it rolls, and you see my heels stay nice and deep. That's the lockout function for the stretch here, and also on the front of your shins as well, it's going to work the muscle there. So bringing it down, the load, and then stretching up, and look, I can touch my toes, they're actually over my head, so that's why I'm getting the stretch, and the load is here, and not here. And then we're just going to rise through every time, locking out. What you don't do is short change yourself, so lock out. Hamstrings and triceps today. Let's go. Yeah. Here's our gym. Here's a strongman training. So if you think this gives you perspective on, like, I know some of you guys haven't met me in real life. See, this is a big guy. I'm quite normal and achievable. Superhuman human. So as you can see, our gym is full of, well,
very few actual bodybuilders are more fitness and crazy ass strongmen like Colin and his Colin and his friends are just insane, and it gives you a real perspective on how we stand in comparison. But Lainey is now on it since coming back from Canada. She's really stepped her training up a notch. She's 20 weeks out now. Yeah. So
20 weeks today.
Full document. She's going to be documenting her run right through to the stage, and it should be interesting for a lot of you guys who've got girlfriends who are interested in things like that. So she's going to be going through her food, her training, and everything. Obviously, you see Mikey and I are back in our groove. So this is our our high volume week, which is really nice to kind of come back into, and it's the start of our tri-phase cycle. So we do high volume followed by heavy, followed by contraction, then back round again. And high volume in this kind of weather and stuff is just, it's one of my favourite things to be doing. The sunshine, doors open on the gym, just a good atmosphere, really nice. Mikey making seriously good progression as well. It's good. It's good to be home, huh? As much as we miss, the fun and the sun of Canada.
I'm like nowhere. I don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to leave my house.
It is nice to be home and get a little bit of normality and get settled back in. It is very good though, because that breakaway gave Lainey kind of a new perspective on her training.
From Kat?
From training with Kat, and she's much more kind of focused now on the fitness, the kind of HIT style of the training rather than that body part split, which I think was kind of coming to a plateau point with her and doesn't really benefit her in the way she wants to look on stage, because she grows mass too quickly, which I know, guys, that sucks, but she really does. Like, her quads just grow if she trains them with any kind of real weight, and that's not what you want as a girl. Her quads are big enough, all they need is detailing. So that's not to say that you do high volume when cutting or anything like that. That's not the point, but you can obviously train for size and you can train for detail. So you can train for hypertrophy, strength, exactly. You can train to detail up muscle and maintain size rather than grow. So she's working much more on kind of like plyo work, more explosive work, body weight and things like that, just to take the existing muscle and make it fitter and give it more detail. So
I feel like I've gotten to a place where my body, the size of my muscles is where they should be at for my build and height and shape. So now it's just to make them look better.
And that's it. And we've both kind of come back with this philosophy now. I want to be fitter. I want to start getting more of my cardio in, and I'm not going to let the British weather affect that, which I have been doing. I've been kind of a lot more sedentary than I like to be, simply because the weather hasn't permitted it. But sod that. So what we're intending to both do now is, Lainey's dieting, I'm now going into a lean gain phase, but in this lean gain, I'm going to actually step up cardio higher than it was in my cutting phase. Because in my cutting phase, I didn't do any structured cardio. I just did life cardio and what I could fit in, trying to be as active as possible. But I actually didn't kind of do any kind of elliptical work or HIT work or even bag work, really, because the time just wasn't there. I was literally doing last reps as the lights were going off in the gym. So this off season we're going to be maintaining. Again, I'm quite happy with my size. I don't want to get any bigger up top. Obviously I had the injury in the glute tear and the damage there, so that affected quad size. My hamstrings look really good, but my quads obviously can have more development on there, and so I want to concentrate on growing leg, calf size, as most guys do, but my upper body I kind of want to maintain, so I can afford to be a lot more explosive in my movements up top, even train certain body parts less up top and concentrate more on leg work. So it's very much being diverse in your training and angling your training towards your specific goals. Don't be set or stuck even in a structure that you think is the right way. There is no right way. There's a lot of wrong ways of doing things in technique and things like that, but there's no one right way of doing something. You have to structure it to your body, your goals and your strengths and your weaknesses more than anything. So now off home we have a house view on Monday, which might be awesome. So that's our goal. So we're going to go see my pops, who's unfortunately been taken into hospital. He is 96 years old, suffered a few complications, but he seems to be on the mend. So we're going to go cheer him up, say hello, and hopefully all will be well. So we'll check in on the next video, because I think I'm going to spend most of the day probably, cheering my grandfather up. And as we couldn't see him when we were in Canada, I'm going to go make up for that and make sure he's not giving the nurses too much hassle. So thank you for watching, and we'll catch you all in the next video with a boom.
Baby.